How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with the OWL, the OWL, the OWL League, Season 3, but Season 2 for us here on the channel. I am your captain of the Bellowing Children. My teammates are Aquarius and Steven, and this is not a draft analysis, but a draft announcement. Basically, I did record a full draft analysis. It was like 45 minutes long, but unfortunately, if you guys don't know, my internet is too bad to upload videos much longer than 20 minutes at the minute. So I had to kind of redo this as a very quick draft announcement video. Aquarius has a full draft analysis up on their channel, as well as their week 1 and 2 battles, I think, at this point. I'm very far behind. So definitely go and check Aquarius' channel and see what's going on over there. This draft is a 24 coach draft, so it is crazy. It's like 2 drafts stacked on top of each other. In essence, you know, what would normally be 24th pick in a 12-man draft, i.e. end of round 2, is actually the final pick of round 1 in this draft. So if you are the first pick, you have to wait 48 picks, essentially, until you get to pick again, meaning that your second pick is at the end of what would usually be round 4. So yes, you get the first pick, then you get the final pick of round 4? That's crazy. In a regular draft, like, equivalent. So, really crazy system. Why are we named the Bellowing Children? I should explain that as well. Hopefully the logo is on screen for you guys to see. We are named the Bellowing Children because Steven's mascot for his Hartford, I think it's Hartford Whalmers, is a Whalmer. I looked at Whalmer to try and think of a clever team name, and the Japanese name for Whalmer translates as the Bellowing Child. Fantastic. What a fantastic name for a Pokemon, the Bellowing Child. So if you're Japanese and you looked at that, you'd be like, oh, that's the Bellowing Child. That's literally what you would call it. You wouldn't say that's Whalmer. Super weird. But we are the Bellowing Children because of that, because I thought it was such a fun bit of trivia. And yeah, we're going to get into the draft announcement now. Very quickly, I'm going to tell you Steven's team because Steven doesn't upload, and I think it's a really cool draft. So Steven has the Mega Medicham, the Gliscor, the Thundurus Incarnate, the Alolan Muck, the Araquanid, the Forretress, the Aromatisse, the Kamala, the Shaman Sky, but with Seed Flare and Air Slash banned. Pretty weird. But it's still cool. And the Misdreavus and the Typhlosion. Now, really crucially, what you can kind of hear is Mega Medicham, Gliscor, Thundurus Incarnate, Muckalola. Like, there's only really one first-round pick here in Mega Medicham. Everything else is like a third-round pick. I still think he picked up like an amazing draft, don't get me wrong, but what you're not going to find is a lot of drafts that are like Mega Medicham, Latios, Infernape, Tangrowth. You know, it's hard to get a lot of common first to third round picks on the draft. It's just too difficult with all these coaches here. So that's his draft. I think Steven, excuse me, got an awesome draft, as he's proving with his battling ability with it. But now moving on to my draft, and hopefully I'll be able to put the Pokemon up in the screen for you guys in the edit, if it doesn't make the file too large, which actually it won't. So, round 1, I picked up Terrakion. This thing is going to be named Dean. I really wanted Mega Lopunny, but unfortunately that got sniped. I was kind of expecting it. I should say I was around the 14th pick, so I think, if I remember right. So I was late middle, early end, depending on how you want to look at it. Maybe I was later than that. Maybe I was like 18th pick, actually. I think I was 18th pick. What am I talking about? Excuse me. So, I was in what we call the final cycle. The draft is considered, is broken up into 3 cycles. First cycle, middle cycle, and final cycle. I was in the final cycle, but I was early in the final cycle. So I picked up Terrakion because I wanted a really hard-hitting fighting type, and Terrakion did exactly that. Next up, I picked up Togekiss. It really complemented a lot of Terrakion's weaknesses, having a ground immunity, having a... what else does it do? A fighting 4 times resist. So yeah, I just thought that Togekiss was a really cool pick to partner Terrakion. Also gave me Cleric options, Defog options, Baton Pass, Pivot options. Not allowed to pass stats, unfortunately. This is supposed to be a draft announcement, not a draft analysis. What am I doing? But yeah, so that is Gypsy, No Name Gypsy, our Togekiss. Next up, we have Salamence. This was a bit of a panic pick, but Salamence, you know, Intimidate Moxie. This is our first Z user. Really cool mon. Thought I was going to trade it away after the draft, but I didn't. Gives me really nice speed tiers with 80 from Togekiss, 100 from Salamence, 108 from Terrakion. Next up, we have Reuniclus. This is nicknamed Strumpf after my good friend Strumpful. He always uses Reuniclus. Well, he doesn't always use Reuniclus, but he uses Reuniclus a lot. This time he decided to pick up Necrozma because he needed some hazard options. Makes a lot of sense. So that meant that I was able to pick up Reuniclus in round 4. Incredible. Like, that's so cool to me, being able to pick up Reuniclus in round 4. Nice little Trick Room option on the team now. Regen option on the team, can be defensive, can be offensive, can be setup, defensive. can be set up offensive with things like Acid Armor or... is it Acid Armor or Iron Defense? One of the two. Or Calm Mind. Different options for Reuniclus. Really cool Pokemon. Then next up we picked up Nico the Nidoking. We had this in PEBA. This was to partner something else that we didn't end up picking up, which was Swampert. I wanted to add another 4 times weakness to complement Salamence, so I thought I would go Nidoking then Swampert. Unfortunately, that didn't work out that way. The reason being that it gives me ground types or electric immunities that aren't weak to the same things. Nidoking having that poison type, meaning it's not weak to grass, and Swampert having that water type, meaning it's not weak to ice. So that was kind of the thinking there. But that didn't happen. But we still kept Nidoking because Nidoking is still an incredible Pokemon. Next up, we have Dhelmise. Yep, we picked up Popeye the Dhelmise. Shout out to Andrew. Most of you guys will know Andrew by now. One of our longest, if not our longest term, I don't know what the word is, subscriber here. But he gave me the idea of the Popeye nickname for Dhelmise, which I think was really cool. Dhelmise is a bulky grass type. It got like Leech Seed and Synthesis. One of the two was given to it in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I can't remember which. So it can legitimately just be a fat grass type now, as well as being a Trapper with Anchor Shot, a Secret Steel Stab with that Steel Worker, which is really nice, and a Rapid Spinner, as well as a Spin Blocker with the Ghost type. So I just think Dhelmise is a really cool Pokemon. Dean had it last season, and I was keen to try it out again. Next up, we have Alolan Persian. I should say as well, the Terrakion was named after Dean, formerly known as Foss. Well, I don't know why he's formerly known as Foss. He's still known as Foss. I don't know what I'm talking about. But he's back in the community, which is amazing. But at the time when we started this league, he was not in the community, which is why I haven't mentioned this. But that is why I did not get the Christmas kids back together, because at the time of starting the league, Dean had left. So we couldn't get the full team back together. So I was like, do you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to bring new people into the community. Me and a few other captains agreed that we thought it was important to try and refresh our this season with a lot of new faces. So we really pushed to do that. Anyway, moving on. Next we have Alolan Persian. This is named after Andrew, who I just mentioned. Really cool Pokemon. It gives me Fur Coat, makes it really bulky on the physical side. Dhelmise potentially as an AV set is really bulky on the special side, so that was pretty nice to add a bit more of a physical bulk to the team. Togekiss tends to be quite specially bulky as well, I think, if I remember correctly. And Salamence, obviously the Intimidate, can be physically bulky, so it's another physical bulk option. Parting Shot into my setup sweepers, Rock Polish or Soul Dance Terrakion, Nasty Plot Togekiss, Dragon Dance Salamence, Trick Room Reuniclus, Iron Defense Calm Mind Reuniclus. All of these things really love having a Parting Shot into them, so I just thought Alolan Persian worked really, really well in this team, gave me another slightly faster mon, although this team still is pretty slow. Yeah, so that's Andrew the Alolan Persian. Wow, I'm not very fast, am I? Next up, Druddigon. Now, Druddigon was a weird pick. At this point, I wasn't going to pick up Swampert anymore, and I was like, screw it, we're going to drop Salamence. So, I picked up Druddigon, and, Double Dragon. So, this thing is named Double D, because it is my Double Dragon typing. It is also got 2 Ds in the middle of his name, and I'm immature and childish, and it sounds like a bra, so that makes me laugh. That's basically why. So we have Druddigon Double D. This thing is really, really nice into Trick Room, which is cool to partner it with Reuniclus. It's another rock setter, which is important because at the minute we only have Terrakion and Nidoking, and they can both want to do other things sometimes. So really, really cool to have a third option for rock setter. It can be a rough skin Rocky Helmet set if we want to wear down things like Mega Lopunny, for example. Just as a, or because Mega Medicham's already been drafted, but things that want to spam like Fake Out and normal moves, Chinchino has been drafted with Tail Slap, Ambipom maybe, these kind of things. So Druddigon is really cool for that. It also is a Sheer Force Trick Room Wall Breaker or Sweeper because it hits so damn hard, 120 base attack, Sheer Force boosted. Whew! Get at me. That thing hits so hard. So really, really cool to have Druddigon on the team. I know a lot of people dislike it, but I think it has some utility here. Okay, I have a crippling ice weakness at this point with Togekiss, Salamence, Nidoking, Dhelmise, and Druddigon. And no ice resists is crucial to mention. But, I don't fear ice types. I have a Terrakion. Maybe that's enough. I hope. Maybe. But next up, we're going to pick up... This actually wasn't the pick, but I'm not going to bother because I traded some things away immediately after the draft. So I'm just going to tell you what I did pick up. I picked up Mega Blastoise next. This thing is nicknamed Steven, after my teammate Steven. And Mega Blastoise, did I mention that Salamence was nicknamed after Aquarius? I think I didn't. Salamence is nicknamed after Aquarius, another of my teammates. So I think I've done the nicknames for everything else. Yeah, I have. So Steven the Mega Blastoise is here to be a massive fat water type that can be an ice resist, so it can switch in on ice beams and tank them with ease. It's a shame it doesn't really get any recovery because it can't even run lefties. But, it comes in and then it threatens because with that Mega Launcher and a huge special attack, nothing really wants to take a Water Pulse or a Scald, even, because of the high special attack and stab and potential burns, or a Dark Pulse. You know, different games will have different water stab on this thing because, you know, sometimes you want to run a defensive set that can pick up burns, and sometimes you want to go for power and run water pulse, which is boosted by the cannon. Flash cannon also, I believe, gets boosted, and we have that. We also have Aura Sphere, which gets boosted. Possibly Focus Blast gets boosted, I don't know, but you just run Aura Sphere because it's more accurate. So yeah, really, really cool options with Mega Blastoise. And of course, it gives us our second spinner. So now we have Defog Togekiss, Defog Salamence, Rapid Spin Dhelmise, and Rapid Spin Mega Blastoise, which is pretty cool. Now moving into the penultimate round, round 10, we picked up Badmon. This thing is just nicknamed Badmon, and it is Klinklang. This is a second Ice Resist on the team. It's nicknamed Badmon because I think most people are in agreement that Klinklang is not a good Pokemon. I am not in agreement though. I mean, I kind of am. But it has its place. Like, I really believe this thing has its place. As you guys will see week 1. I don't know if you've seen week 1 at this point. You probably have. But if you haven't, Klinklang put in work week 1. So I'm not going to go too much into what this thing does because it doesn't do a lot. But it's a Steel type and it gives us some momentum with Volt Switch. And that's really all I needed it to do. I already had enough Rock Setters to bypass a Rock Setter on my Steel type. I was happy to do that. So yeah, slow momentum or potential fast momentum, depending on what kind of set we were in. Plus Steel typing was enough to sell me on Klinklang. Final Pokemon, and this one is nicknamed Matt after Eevee Master, who was my teammate last season as well. His real name is Matt, obviously. I've named this Matt after Eevee Master, whose real name is Charlie. No, not like that at all. His real name is Matt. So this is Matt the Magmortar. And this thing is our final Ice Resist. We did manage to patch up the Ice Weakness a little bit at the end. Okay, Mega Blastoise, Klinklang, and Magmortar, none of them get recovery. But all of them can do things. All of them can come in and either scare out Ice types, forcing them to come back in on Rocks again, or give me momentum, or, you know, do something like that. And I do think Magmortar has its place in League play. I think it can be such a hard-hitting wall breaker that we can definitely get some usage out of it in some matchups. Just got to find the right games. Which really, to me, is what is crucial about a draft. At this point, if I look back at my draft, the weakest Pokemon is clearly Klinklang. But I do believe it has its place, and everything else is a very viable Pokemon in Draft League. Terrakion, Togekiss, Salamence, Reuniclus, Nidoking, Dhelmise, Alolan Persian, Druddigon, Mega Blastoise, Klinklang, Magmortar. Like, the only thing on there that you wouldn't see in a normal Draft League necessarily is Magmortar. Everything else has its place in a normal draft. Is Klinklang, sorry. Everything else has its place in a regular OU Draft League. So the fact that we've got all of these mons in Owl and haven't had to stoop to picking up loads of crap, loads of Klinklangs, to me is a win-win. The synergy, I can see people saying it's a little bit off, but I am comfortable with this team. I'm very comfortable with Togekiss. I'm very comfortable with Nidoking. I'm very comfortable with the Alolan Persian. And the rest are new to me, but fit an archetype that I like. Terrakion, that dual stab fighting type that hits super hard, very much fits an archetype that I like to have on my draft. So I'm happy. I'm happy with this draft. This has probably already gone on too long, and I don't know if I'm even going to be able to upload it. But that's our very, very swift draft announcement video. I'm not going to go into Team Synergy because we just don't have the time. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are hyped for Owl. I don't know how many battles you've seen, if any, at this point. But if you haven't seen any, trust me, I've played 2 weeks at this point, and they have both been hype games. So you can look forward to those if you haven't already seen them. All that being said, guys, don't forget to check out Aquarius' channel. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.